Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching another one of these cPacket podcasts, interviewing some of our amazing academic partners and those we have the privilege of coming across in the industry. Uh, I'd like to introduce to you Liz. I'll get her to introduce herself in just a second. But the bottom line is, these are kind of a series of little short videos that we're going to be recording, podcasts, whatever you want to call them, where we're able to ask kind of general questions, not really all about cPacket, but really all about the person and their team, and learn something about what they're up to. So, as I said, my name's Ian. Liz, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course, yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm Liz. I'm an assistant professor in the electrical and computer engineering department at the University of California, Los Angeles. And I run the security and networking lab here.
Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Are things going well in LA? You're enjoying it down there?
LA is a fantastic place to be. Can't complain about the weather. It's a beautiful sunny day and it's a wonderful school with wonderful students.
Fantastic. No, that's great. That's absolutely great. Okay, Vicente, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Sure, I'm Vicente. I'm one of the many engineers at cPacket. I work in the office of the CTO and work on many different things technical. And along one of them is working with really cool researchers.
Excellent. That's great. Okay, so Liz, one of the things I learned about you though during my research into this little short little presentation was the fact that you were nominated earlier in the year, or you won, in fact, Forbes 30 under 30, which is in the science category. And I have to quote it from my notes that are written on the other page here. It says that you were given this recognition in the science category for your work on improving internet performance and security on Earth and in space, which just sounds like a huge aspirational target. That's really fantastic. So once again, congratulations to you for winning that or being recognized in that way. What are some of the ways that that's kind of impacted you? Maybe some of the research opportunities or the way it's impacted you and the team.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's not just me, it's also my collaborators in my lab. So it's definitely a group effort. But yeah, this award has been great. I mean, one of the really nice things about this recognition in particular is it's not just within the academic community, but it's within the broader community. And so people across not just academia, but industry and just regular society know this award. And so
Mhm.
it's brought a lot of attention to the work that we do from outside parties, and it has really shown kind of the different dimensions of impact that your work can kind of bring about. And so it's been great because we've had people reach out that otherwise wouldn't have. The ones that maybe don't look at the niche academic awards that some of the other professors look at or departments. And so we've been able to come across making new connections with different companies, both big and small. And so it's been definitely impactful. And it's been a year since the nomination, but people are still talking about it. So that really goes to show that it may be a little bit important.
I'm saying Forbes isn't your typical science journal, to be frank. And as I say, really great. We see your face on Time Magazine. Is that probably the next goal, Liz? Is that what we're going for?
Well,
Something like that?
the next goal is actually to win an Emmy. We're working on a collaborative project with the video streaming company Netflix, and the next goal is to win an Emmy. So,
I'm telling you, it's really important to set those goals fantastically high, Liz, and we wish you all the best. And Vicente and I will be cheering from the sidelines when you win that Emmy. So, in terms of one of the other papers, a little bit more humdrum, it seems, than winning Emmys or Emmy nominations. But you did recently, you and a number of folks from across the world did a great little kind of poster for one of these kind of more academic-y type organizations, and it was about DNS. It really struck me. It was about a resilient DNS system is essential for a resilient internet, was one of the lines that I pulled from it. And it's really a topic that actually Vicente and I have been quite interested in about DNS. And I was just curious if you could tell us something about your research on that area. As I say, a little bit different from Forbes, but as I say, still very important.
Yeah, I mean, DNS is so critical. It's, the backbone of our internet and what allows, right, people to interact with the internet easily, and also is often the source of many problems, right? Just recently, we had this AWS US East 1 outage, and it turns out yet again, DNS is a part of the problem. And so what we are looking here in this work is we're trying to understand how resilient is the DNS ecosystem and what does it mean to be resilient? How do we quantify resilience, whether it be how replicated your servers are across which IP address ecosystems can you access your DNS servers? And so this has been, and at a global scale too. So not just
Yeah.
one DNS server, but how do we quantify this globally and understand which countries perhaps have more resilient DNS versus others, and how will that impact the access to internet? And so, yeah, this work has been a global collaboration effort as well. It's actually been working with the Internet Society, which is a nonprofit.
Okay, great.
Uh, and so they've been pairing up faculty and PhD students from different countries and to tackle on these kind of more challenging global problems.
No, absolutely right. And once again, making the comment about AWS, it's not exclusive to them, but we do see these kinds of issues coming up from time to time, and it is definitely a concern for things at the global scale. Now, once again, cPacket, we tend to work with large enterprise kind of organizations. So once again, not quite your internet scale kind of stuff that you're obviously researching. But is there anything you can, any recommendations or any kind of things that we should be thinking about? Maybe that some of your research has turned up in terms of even from a kind of an enterprise or large enterprise kind of experience?
Yeah. So yeah, even though our work was looking at a global scale, all of the lessons apply to an enterprise scale because at the end of the day, if DNS breaks within the enterprise, all hell breaks loose. And so there's this
Quite literally.
question of not just looking at, is your DNS ecosystem, does it work and does it scale, but also thinking about, is it redundant? Who has access to it? Which data centers or which servers are actually have access to which parts of the DNS ecosystem? Which resolvers are you relying upon? Who are the dependencies that you're relying upon? And kind of really getting visibility, deeper visibility into the DNS that you might have deployed and that all of your employees and customers might actually be relying upon. And so really taking the time, I think the lesson is visibility is challenging. And so taking the time to gather that data, understand that data deeply, and then from there, understanding what can you do better? You can always do something better. What can you do better to make that ecosystem more resilient and to not have DNS be your problem like it usually is for others?
Yeah, you want to try and avoid being a headline, right? That's probably
Yeah,
the thing to avoid when
exactly.
it
And
comes to
DNS
these
is a
things.
one-way highway that gets you straight to the headline.
No, completely true. As I say, recently in a product release we did, we've added some kind of dashboarding, some analytics related to kind of DNS. Looking at latencies and connection rates and whether things are being lost, etc. What would be that one number, or is there a kind of a small set of numbers that maybe we weren't thinking about, Liz? And this is totally surprise for you. I'm not trying to pin you to the ground. I'm just saying is there kind of a couple of metrics that we should be also seeking to consider as we see the data passing through our devices?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, the answer is that it should never just be one number. It should be many, right? We
Right.
need to paint a multidimensional picture. And so the fact that you guys are collecting and displaying all of the different numbers, right, I think is what's critical. And so I think that trying to understand, what other dimensions, what other numbers can you display, and also doing that in near real time, right? And
Yeah.
then getting insights from that. That is what is most important. And then from there, I think every enterprise, right, may have different priorities or different definitions of resilience or different standards that they may want to adhere to. And so from there, kind of understanding, how big, who is accessing and relying upon that DNS, whether it's just customers, employees, particular systems, and then from there, what guarantees do they need? What are the dependencies between all of those, and then kind of understanding it from there. So I don't know if there's going to be a one size fits all solution, but I think it's very much always look at the bigger picture and understand what you need. And so that's great. I think that you guys have this to give the visibility to the enterprises.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Anyway, that's really great. Really appreciate that. And as I say, definitely something for our NetOps, SecOps listeners, watchers, whatever you want to say. They'll hopefully find that very interesting indeed. So over and above DNS, what else do you want people to know about your research and the impact in the future? What's that big driving force for you and your team at UCLA?
Yeah, so I mean, the lab is really focused on how do we get visibility into ecosystems that we didn't have visibility into before, internet ecosystems, generally
Right.
speaking, such that we can better understand, what is the internet security and performance today? What may we have not known about the performance, for example, of the internet in a particular ecosystem? And once we understand it more deeply, how do we go about improving it? So, as you kind of briefly alluded to at the beginning, some of the lab works actually on space networks, satellite networks in particular. So, this is a
Fantastic.
new coming ecosystem of specifically low Earth orbit
Yeah.
satellite networks. So these are the ones that are delivering internet to rural places that may have not had a great internet connection before. And theoretically, these networks provide the promise of faster than terrestrial internet access. So we're not there yet, according to the data that we've been collecting, but hopefully.
I was about to ask you. I thought I'd missed a news. I thought I'd missed a
Yeah, I
story.
mean, the theory says it should be. Theory says one thing. When you collect data, that always paints a different picture. But
Yeah.
what we're able to do is we've been developing these measurement methodologies to gain visibility into the global ecosystem of these satellite networks by measuring
Right.
customers all around the world and their network connection. And through there, starting to see these global routing patterns and outage patterns and understanding how these networks behave in the real world and how they actually break theory and assumptions and simulations. And through that, understand, okay, what are the bottlenecks? What needs fixing? How do we rethink the protocols, for example, on the internet we have today that work successfully on stable terrestrial internet connections, but not so much in space. And so kind of really taking that step by step. A lot of this research also involves having close partners in industry as well, because sometimes you guys have visibility into customers, into applications that we don't in academia. And so essentially partnering and really looking into the data from an interesting perspective, and then from there kind of working together to build solutions after we find bottlenecks. So that's kind of the flavor of space that and this new ecosystem that we've been also really excited about. And then beyond space, something I think that every single person is thinking about today. We've also been thinking about AI and large language
Right.
models and how that is changing the internet and internet performance, internet
Yeah.
traffic, both globally and also within data centers as well. And so thinking about, what are the new network traffic patterns that these models bring about? What kind of load are they putting on existing infrastructure that they hadn't before? What type of visibility are we missing today? And what do we need to develop to get more visibility? And this is actually what we're working on with cPacket here in Vicente. So we're very excited about also thinking about this new ecosystem and visibility into here. And we're still in the early stages of really understanding, what is there to see and what are the most interesting problems. But we're spending a lot of time and deep thinking in this stage to make sure that we tackle the most exciting, unique
Yeah.
research problem that nobody else is thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. No, that's really fantastic, both from a satellite perspective and also from an AI. We are in a time of change. I think that's
It's inevitable.
blindingly obvious. I'm not just trying to trying to get the headline, right? It's not trying to be frivolous. It's just saying that we are. It's quite clear a time of dramatic change, both from satellites impacting all kinds of aspects of modern life for rural communities, people on the road, all of the things. No need to restate the obvious for everybody, but the bottom line is there is a lot of things out there that we can be a part of, and it is impacting how people operate. And so, yeah, it sounds very exciting indeed. So, what would be that ideal partner customer? Sorry, partner kind of company other than cPacket, obviously. But what are the kind of businesses? Who would you want to reach out to if somebody was happened to be watching this, and who would be the what would be the kind of companies that you're like, wow, I really wish I could work with
Yeah,
whatever.
we love companies that bring problems to us and problems that involve gaining visibility into something that we haven't had before.
Oh, okay, right, perfect.
So we absolutely love, bring us an ecosystem, bring us data. We love data. And essentially some kind of problem where, there might be a hypothesis that needs proving or some kind of ecosystem or customer base that no one has really looked into before. What type of patterns are these customers or applications displaying, both from a performance perspective, but maybe from a security perspective as well. And especially if methodologies don't yet exist for understanding that data or
Okay.
measuring that data, we love that as well because we love to build those systems
Yeah.
such that then others can take those techniques and also apply it to their own data. And that way we kind of keep on giving, and that impact kind of continues and goes on. So that's essentially the flavor of relationships that we have developed, with cPacket and other industry
Yeah.
collaborators. And that's the kind of the flavor that's proven most successful and makes everybody happy. And kind of that gets us towards this bigger goal of really improving visibility into the internet's performance and security. And with the even broader goal, I think, of, within the decades to come, really rethinking how do we improve performance at a global scale, or how do we get ahead of security problems? When you have visibility into these ecosystems, all of a sudden, you can react much quicker. You can react to performance problems instantly. You can react to security problems instantly. And sometimes things are unpredictable. And so, prediction is one very fruitful approach, but sometimes you just need to quickly see it and react. And that's almost
Yes.
like the
Yeah. Ability to respond, right? It's the responding.
exactly.
Yes.
Respond,
Yeah.
0 days, whatever. You really can only respond to it. So it's how quickly can you do that? For
Yeah.
that, you need visibility, right? And then how quickly can you detect and then respond and then essentially move on with your day and avoid becoming a headline. So that's the goal that we hope to, kind of completely redefine how we do this and how companies and networks do this on the internet.
Well, it sounds like high aspirations. As I say, in terms of yes, so we've got that question. So in terms of cPacket, in terms of where could you see things going, just at a high level, with some of the work that you've been kicking around with Vicente, is it? I mean, presumably it's in a very similar space, just as you said, the idea of trying to unpack new areas, the idea of being able to monitor things quickly, respond quickly. I mean, is that kind of fitting into the general same picture that you've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
been outlining?
Most definitely. It's really getting, more specifically, visibility into how we have these large language models and how they're operating and performing within data centers.
Hmm.
We've been kind of starting our focus on that, but also understanding how they're operating with the global internet and how they're scraping information from the outside internet and how essentially that type of network pattern is different than what is just contained within the data center,
Hmm.
and really understanding, what are the patterns that we see, we don't see, how do we gain visibility into even the most fine granularity of a network patterns that these large language models are really creating in these networks in new and unique ways.
Yeah.
And understanding also, given those patterns and gaining new methodology perhaps to measure them, what are kind of the benchmarks and goals that when somebody else essentially comes out with a new protocol for large language models in these networks, how can we quickly test them and understand, how has the network performance improved or not, and can we develop these
Hmm.
benchmarks that many different kind of companies or what have you deploy to understand kind of the solutions that they are building, how effective are they, and how are they actually changing or stress testing the network, and therefore kind of providing this pipeline and scaffolding so we can develop faster and better and at higher quality in this kind of AI space.
Nope. That sounds fantastic. Okay, Vicente, what have I missed? What are those questions that you want to hard, difficult questions we want to ask Liz here?
Wow.
No, you cover a lot of interesting points. I was kind of an off-the-cuff question. I was kind of wondering if there's any, like space networks, it's observability and getting data is maybe at the base stations or something. I don't know where you get it. I'm sure the satellites you cannot, but I don't know if there's an equivalent into how you would measure a data center. For instance, you would not have access to the AI cluster, but there's probably places in the network where you can actually look at a problem and have similarities in how you approach that space.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the ways that we measure satellite networks is we are essentially contacting clients, sending packets to clients that are behind these satellite networks, and then running these kind of special trace routes to understand, to narrow in which part of the path was the actual satellite link. And then
Right.
from there, analyzing just that satellite link and kind of running those measurements over and over and understanding how the latency of that satellite link or any outages kind of changes over time. And so, kind of perhaps there is a way to translate that to measure data center performance. It depends, what granularity you're looking for, but even at maybe some coarser granularity, but still informative. Basically, essentially trying to run these trace routes, perhaps specially crafted trace routes, to map out as much infrastructure as possible that is visible from the outside into these data centers, and then from there, really under trying to unpack maybe some of the bottlenecks, perhaps maybe just the most egregious bottlenecks, but still, you never know what you'll find. And being able to do that either for one particular data center where you might have more visibility, especially if they're a partner and they give you more visibility into that, or perhaps other data centers, competitor data centers
Yeah, yeah,
globally. But to be able to get a taste, of what does that network infrastructure layout look like, especially if if that particular part of the network or center is serving particular LLM models, for example, trying to essentially be a customer and a user of that and analyze those patterns from the outside. So there could definitely be, I think, an interesting research direction and in flavor there as well, and trying to understand, what visibility can you get just as an outsider, and how far can that take you into understanding the more global ecosystem.
fantastic, Liz. Thanks very much for unpacking that. If people want to learn more about the work that you and the team are doing, is there a particular page? Do you have a do you blog? What's the how can people reach out if they're
Yeah,
like, I really want to work with this team. They sound fantastic. What's the best way?
Yeah, we'd love to work with you. And just Google my name. That's
Okay.
probably the easiest. My personal website links to our lab website at the top, and then you can see all of the papers that we've published recently, who
Mhm.
some of our collaborators are, who the awesome PhD students and postdocs are, and collaborators from outside of UCLA as well. So you can give a great deep dive, and then just email me with the email on that page, and we respond really fast, especially to people who have exciting problems and exciting data.
That sounds great. We'll make once again, as they say in all of these good shows, we'll put it in the show notes or we'll put it in the comments underneath this video so folks can click on it. So as I say, Liz, we really appreciate you taking time. As I say, I know you have a busy schedule, and definitely thanks very much for hanging out with Vicente and I today. Definitely appreciate it. Look forward to working more with you and the team over the coming weeks and months, and wish you great success. And whether it's an Emmy or something else exciting in the future, we look forward to seeing that all come together. Should be great.
So thank you for the invitation. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot. Once again, if you're out there and you are an academic, you're interested, you're excited by what Liz has been talking about here for her particular team, but maybe you've got that different nuance and you're like, oh, I'd love to work with cPacket or whatever. cPacket loves to work with multiple academic partners, some of which you've seen in this video series. Others you can always learn about. Feel free to reach out to Vicente. Once again, we'll put a link for that in the in the show notes or whatever you want to call these things. And yeah, or reach out to me on LinkedIn, wherever it might be. We'd love to talk to you. And thanks very much again to you, Liz. Vicente, thanks a lot for your time, sir.
Thank you
And
both. And looking
And
forward to getting our work started.
it's going to be
Yes.
great. Okay, anyway, I've been Ian, Liz has been Liz, Vicente's been Vicente. Thanks very much and have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.